Welcome back. Yep, that's right. It's another edition of the Advantage Line, your one-stop shop for all things NRL and Rugby League. And I'm joined in studio once again by Karl.
Back off the bench, past the HIO. I'm back.
Okay, he seems like he's fizzing too. So we'll get back.
I missed this last week. I had to watch from the sidelines, and
we'll get back to Karl very, very soon. But we've got another couple of guests / regulars. First of all, to Papa Moore. Blake, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. I'm flying. I just want to say a quick shout out to all the fans who have sent me texts. I did say after, the All-Star break, I'd be back, and I just continue the run of green ticks. So to the fans that sent me messages, yes, the same game multi got up $18. I know. I love you, and I'll try and get back to you soon.
$18? I thought it was $9.
No, it was 18.
$2 on
it. Yeah, well, no, I can't argue with that. You certainly have turned the corner since the All-Star break, and you're coming home with a wet sail, and have actually made it into positive ground for the first time in a long, long time. So things are looking on the up for Blake. Another person who's having a very good season punting-wise is a good friend, Ben Searle from Searley Talk Sports. Welcome along again, Searley.
Yeah, cheers for having me. And look, the run of form continues, back the Warriors, bet with your heart, and amazing things happen. So,
Sorry, just out of interest, Blake, can you count the number of people texting you on one hand?
No, it takes two.
One finger, two fingers.
Oh my goodness!
Is that our group chat?
Possibly.
Are we?
No comment.
Let's get back to business.
Sorry.
And we'll talk about how the punting went last week a wee bit later. But Karl, you've got something to announce?
Something special. I'm not retiring. Not yet, anyway. I'm actually coming out of retirement. But that's another conversation we can get into. Sorry. We've got a giveaway for our podcast listeners. Podcast listeners only. We have two double passes, two sets of 2 tickets to give away to the TAB Club Rooms at Mount Smart Stadium next week to see the Warriors take on the Storm Friday night, July 29. So we're kind of winging this, but if you want to enter and you are a faithful Advantage Line listener, flick us a DM on the TAB Facebook page, Instagram account, or at TAB Sport on Twitter, and use code word or code words Advantage Line.
One word or 2 words?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Get crafty. Make a sentence. Use both the words, and yeah, you're in the draw to win. And we will probably get in contact with you via the socials, and then we will also announce the winner on here next week. But yeah, so you'll know before you hear next week's.
You'll know before the listeners know.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. If you know, that kind of vibe.
What if they're from out of town?
If you're from out of Auckland, you got to make your own way there. Sorry, just tickets.
If you live in Papa Moore, could you get a lift with Blake?
Possibly.
But yeah, possibly.
It's a no. That's a very polite no.
Yeah, that's a no.
There's no guarantee with that one. Sorry. I try. Hey, look, I tried. I try for the listeners.
Yeah. So
2 double passes.
2 double passes
into the TAB Club Rooms at Mount Smart Stadium.
Yep.
On Friday the 29th for the game between the Warriors and the Storm.
That's it. Plenty of fun. Plenty of bonus bets. Be a good night.
Beautiful.
Great job, Karl. You were a bit stressed winging that, but you're outstanding.
Thanks, mate. Season pro.
Speaking of the Storm, the bank is officially closed. I've withdrawn all my funds, and I don't know what's happening there. They've lost 3 in a row.
First time in 7 years.
They're a chance of losing 4 in a row.
Are they a chance of the spoon?
They got it. Wow. No. And I think the odds would reflect that. They may not even be in the book. But Pappenhausen, nasty injury there. Was it a fractured knee bone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fractured kneecap, I believe.
Kneecap. That doesn't sound good at all.
Just They're into the miss the 8 market. I don't think I've seen them in there before. They're in there now, $31.
A lot of things
Wow.
would happen.
A lot of things would have to happen, but just saying.
So are you worried about the Storm then?
Yeah, Pappenhausen's a big out. I don't know. With that said, I can't write them off. Like, I'm going to take them more times than I'm not probably coming home. They're still got a star-studded team. Bellamy's been the best coach for the last 10, 15, 20 years. I don't know. I think matches might be a lot tighter. But the Melbourne Storm will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season for me.
Yeah.
Blake, you've got concerns about the Storm, or you think they've picked up enough early points to they're not a chance of missing the 8?
No way. They're in the 8. I've actually in a tipping. I won't have them in any bets this week, but I believe they'll win this week. I think they're a chance of winning against the Bunnies. But look, I mean, that injury, I know a couple of players that have had it, and some have come back from it, like a Tedesco, but then some players like a Tim Moulton, who I've played with, hasn't really come back to his best from it. So it's a real bad injury. So it's interesting to see how he goes, because this is I believe, a 12-month injury. So they might have to find replacements and real quick. But look, I don't think they're in trouble of missing the 8. I think they're too classy. You look at the game on the weekend, I think it was just a bit, look, they just got beat, but Canberra had to do some freakish things, intercept try, that kick from Schiller where he puts it down. Like, I think they'll be there, man. I just don't think they'll win the comp.
Just looking at the draw, and I want to butt in here
and jump in.
Throw to you and Searley.
They've got 2 points coming up soon.
They've only got 2 home games left. They play the run home. They obviously play the Bunnies this week. The Warriors here in New Zealand the week after.
2 points.
They play the Titans at home in Melbourne, so that's a guaranteed
2
win.
points.
Penrith away, Broncos away, Roosters at home, Eels away to finish. That is a pretty tough draw.
It's a guaranteed 4 points, at least.
Titans and Bunnies.
Oh, Searley. Searley, what do the Storm do now? How do they change things so that they're still a force when it comes to the playoffs at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think the biggest concern for me with the Storm is just the jerseys 1 to 5. Like, no disrespect to those guys, but apart from Olam and maybe Meaney, not many of the others would kind of start in many other NRL sides. Iramia, Seve, and Wishart, who I think's on the wing this week, he's a 7 or a hooker. So they're starting to scramble a little bit there. Maybe they could look to pick up like a Matt Duffy or someone like that who's a bit out of favour somewhere else. If Bellamy could make him into a bit of a poor man's Pappenhausen, then they could find something a bit there. But I think their biggest concern moving forward is not missing out on the 8, but avoiding a side like Penrith early on in the playoffs, because I think that would spell the end of their season. I just don't think they'll be good enough with the cattle they have out now to kind of push with that top side. But yeah, they'll still be in the playoffs. I've actually had that injury Pappenhausen had before, had to have surgery on it. It was about 7 years ago now, and it's still pretty nasty to this day, like able to play, but it still causes me problems. So it's not a nice injury, and I wouldn't be surprised if he struggles with it for quite a while to come. But yeah, I see them in the 8, absolutely, but it's more now who they try and avoid for those finals games.
Yeah. I know I just talked them up saying they're in. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a couple of bucks on that 31s.
Oh, this man he's all over the place.
Bunnies in 7th are only 1 win behind them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Seagulls in 8th are only 2 wins behind. The Roosters are coming.
Yeah, they are.
They've look. I think they'll be there, but there's a chance that they're not safe. It's a tough run home.
$31 at the moment, punters. Storm to miss the 8. Karl's going to have a couple of dollars on.
A couple.
I think their points differential might get them through, right? They're plus 177. So if it comes down to it, then that might get them through. But it's not a bad shout.
Look, I didn't get that far across the page, Searley, so Thanks for.
Still have a go, mate. Still have a go.
Oh, I will. I will.
Okay. Roosters, Joey Manu. Boy, is he in a rich vein of form. But the little fake cramp, if he really did have cramp and the defense came up on him and smashed him, everyone will be going, oh, grubs. He fakes it, bursts through, puts a kick through, try scored. Boss move or move? Searley?
Oh, I'm split on this one. This is kind of Premier League WWE type of stuff, you know. The guy fakes it and then pulls off one of the best plays. If I could do that while I was injured, I'd be in the NRL as well. That's outstanding. But look, it's hard, you know. You're always told to play to the whistle, but then again, if someone was to flatten him, like you said, you get called a grub. So if the Dragons do that this weekend against Manly, you can't blame them. And it could turn out pretty nasty, you know, if someone's got a bad knee injury or something and then gets cleaned out late, then people will be blowing up. But he's a heck of a player, and what a performance he put in on the weekend. But maybe he should have just gone to ground, done the old surrender, played the ball and gone from there like they do when there's a possible obstruction or something. But yeah, it was an interesting one. I had a bit of a laugh at it, but if I was playing against him, I'd be giving him a right earful, that's for sure.
I'd be absolutely filthy. Blake, have you ever tried that in your playing career?
Yeah, but obviously trying to take off again, it just never didn't have the same pace. And yeah, Blake didn't like me, so I got smashed anyway.
Well, Blake's definitely injured.
Yeah. Nah, look, man, it's a shit move. It is, but look, he's an honest bloke, and I think there was a tweak or something there. To be honest, he could be in doubt for this week, apparently. Like maybe they're just throwing a smoke screen up to protect him, but I don't think he purposely meant to do it. I think it might have grabbed or might have tweaked a little bit, but yeah, like I'm with you. I think everyone's, well, we haven't heard Karl, but I think most people have the thought that if you go and do that and smash them, then you're going to be labelled a grub, and it's not a good look. But yeah, you can't be doing it if that's how you're going to go.
Karl, Joey Manu.
I'm here for it. Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, I knew there'd be one.
Yeah.
Play to the whistle. Play to the
Wow.
whistle. There's no way that was a real grab or pull. That was all put on. And the in doubt this week, smoke screen.
So if he does, if like that Billy Smith said he did his ACL in like the 5th minute, but carried on until he felt it go, which could have been a minute or two later. If he goes down or goes to faint down, gets back up and tries to keep running, but we find out he's done his ACL, you're sweet. Like you're all good with that.
If he knows he's done his ACL and he gets up to go again, that's his own fault. Stay down. If you're hurt, go down.
Wow.
If you're look, I'm no doctor, but
Thanks, Anesta.
yeah, like me and Braith, we're on the same level here. It was fine. It was fine. Play on. Play on. I'm here for it.
We've got some differing opinions on the Joey Manu stunt.
Tell you what, I'm going to try it this week. I'm going to do the same thing.
Tell you what, back in Paul's day, that stuff wouldn't fly. Blake would have had 2 front teeth knocked out back in Paul's day.
And fair enough.
Very next set.
Fair enough
Very
too.
next set.
If the way he took off and the speed he took off, he's obviously fine. Fair enough. Dust him up next set. Clean him out.
Oh, all right.
Just not above, just not in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add that. What about you?
Grub move.
Okay.
Grub move. I'm old school. That's grub. Let's talk about one of his teammates. Victor Radley is committed to the Poms, which means he's no longer eligible for State of Origin. Now, he was in the wider squad for the past series. Surely he wasn't that far away from picking up a bench spot if there was another injury or two. Surely he would have got slotted in there somewhere. So
He committed after Origin finished, though.
yes,
Yeah.
But that's it for him now for all future Origins, unless he can he uncommit from England after the World Cup and then be eligible again?
What if he doesn't make the team?
What, the English?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, turn it up.
Well, he hasn't been selected yet.
Searley, any chance he doesn't make the team?
No, I think after watching him play on the weekend, he'll definitely make the team. He's an unreal footballer. But yeah, I think Brad Fittler would have been pretty surprised at that decision, seeing as though he'd just paid his hotel bill a couple of weeks ago. So no doubt Victor was probably living it up, having the time of his life, knowing deep down if he wasn't getting picked, that was the end for him. But makes it exciting for international footy, doesn't it? Like guys now are starting to go that other route and say they'd rather represent their nation than state of origin. So it's kind of closing that gap between how people view international footy and state of O.
Blake, could this trend of players starting to commit to other international sides, and I know tier 2, it still means they're eligible for origin, but with someone like Victor Radley now committing to England, could this sway the Australian Rugby League into tweaking the eligibility rules for state of origin, or will they keep them as is?
I believe so, and I think Big Mal's come out and said, you know, why don't but as in tweaking the rules, not let everyone play. If you're born in New South Wales and Queensland, or you're there from a certain age, I believe, to me that's play on, and then go and represent. For me, I love International Rugby League, and I've always wondered why rugby is so good at the World Cups, and there's all these teams that challenge. You see Japan beating South Africa and things like this. And in rugby league, you just know that it's out of 2 or 3 teams, and the pool stages just aren't as fun. I know the Cook Islands can have a great team if they get their full team together. So is all the Pacific Island nations, and even players with American heritage and things like this. I think that it will change the state of origin, and I believe that it's better for International Rugby League. And I love Victor Radley for doing this, because I think it's great, and I think things are going to change in the near future.
Just to the Cook Islands management, I'm retired, so I'm no longer available for selection. So just put a line through my name just in case it written it down somewhere. Karl, you happy with the eligibility rules for state of origin, or would you like to see them tweaked slightly?
I get why everyone's so opposed to tweaking them, and have been so opposed up until now. But like everything in the world, like everything's changing. You gotta keep up with change and the pace of change. And yeah, I like what Blake was saying. If you're born in New South Wales, Queensland, but you have heritage elsewhere, you're still eligible to play.
What about if you migrate and you get there before the age of 10 or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I think that he's like, World Cup's a massive thing. Like, it's huge to be playing in a World Cup, and I think he obviously thought maybe I'm not going to make the Aussie team, and then in 4 years' time, well, I might be too old. I might be a bit past it for the Aussie team. There might be new kids coming up. This is my chance. So, look, I think he's done the right thing, and I think by him doing it, it will change it. Because you know how good that game was last Wednesday, no matter the result. But the game was one of the best origins we've seen. Imagine having the best 36 players every time, no matter, you know, what heritage they're from, but obviously from New South Wales or Queensland before they're 13 or whatever. Just go at it like that for 3 games. It'd be epic. It'd be so good.
Yeah, and I see the Big Mal's called too for those with dual eligibility for the World Cup to make a decision now, because he doesn't want to name his Kangaroos team and then have people defect immediately, which I think is another great move. You got to. Here's the line, you pick.
I'm guessing some of them right on the fringe are thinking, I'll wait till Mel names the team and then I'll tell everyone, oh no, I'm available for Samoa. Yeah, I always was. Searley, you sort of happy with the status quo, or you'd like to see the state of origin eligibility rules tweaked slightly?
Yeah, I think I'm with Blake and Karl. I think it just makes sense for both formats of the game, and it just clears things up a little. At the moment, it's like such a blurred line. We had that Ronaldo Mulatalo thing last year. Like, that was an absolute shambles. So if we just draw a line in the sand, make it known. But as the boys said, you have to keep up with the times. So I think what Mel was suggesting is the best way to go. And it helps international footy as well, which I think we should still be looking to promote as the top level of the game.
Yeah, it helps too with, Mal Meninga coming out saying a Queensland great. Kangaroos coach, he's obviously ready to change and turn that page. Surely the rest of the lot can get on board.
Speaking of Mal, he's probably got a big decision to make very, very soon as to who is the number one halfback in the NRL at the moment, and who'll be starting for the Kangaroos come World Cup time. I think he made his thoughts fairly clear earlier on in the season. I'm not sure whether those have changed or not. I would say after the performance of the Queenslanders in the state of origin, he's fairly safe and saying happy to stick with DCE. But we'll talk about that on another episode, I'm sure.
Don't underestimate Nathan Cleary. He's just been to Bali. He'll be back. He'll be refreshed. Look out. It's like Blake post the All-Stars. You got Cleary post Bali. Look out.
Yeah. I haven't
Similarities.
seen any from Bali.
Yeah. Did he fight anyone?
Hey, there's been no scandals in the NRL. The boys have been behaving.
It's all coming. It's all coming.
En route.
Last words. Let's talk about the Dolphins. And they're starting to get a squad together. And I think a big part of that, obviously, is Wayne Bennett being at the helm there. And he will attract a few players. There hasn't been, for mine, an out-and-out superstar signed yet by the Dolphins. But there is a fairly solid look to the squad as it stands at the moment. Blake, your thoughts on how the Dolphins are coming together?
Yeah, for a first up team, I think they're going to have a solid team. Now, if there's injuries, they're in all strife, but I don't think they're coming last next year. I sort of guarantee with the Storm leadership and Wayne Bennett's coaching that this side won't come last. I mean, Ewan Aiken's going to be playing in the centres, I believe. Maybe not. That's not what they signed him. But looking at the team and going through my team list, I have him in the centres. So, look, it's a strong team. You got Tom Gilbert from the Cowboys, a young weapon. So, Sullivan, Cody in the halves will do a job. Look, I don't think they're making the 8, but I don't think they're coming last.
Karl?
I'm just looking at the team now. They've got some solid players in the right positions. At back rows, did you say that Storm, Bromwich, Kafusi? I was going to say Falusi.
Yep.
Wow. Then at Bromwich in the front row, the halves, probably not the worst halves pairing. You've got Anthony Milford there as well.
Did Milford sign? Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, huge signing.
So I guess that's your superstar for lack of anyone else.
Yeah.
Probably. Jeremy Marshall King, they've got some creative ball players there, and I think they'll be in that bottom 4, perhaps, because looking like Blake says, looking at this, the depth isn't exactly there. I'm not prepared to say they won't come last, but like Blake.
Searley?
Yeah, I'd agree with that bottom 4 call. I think they've got a great core there, especially in the forward pack of experience and talented footballers. But then that injury one, it's such a long season. The NRL's so physical, and just that next step down is kind of 18 to 20-year-old guys that have been coming through their system and haven't played any, if not, they haven't had a taste of the NRL yet. So I think that's going to be a big task. If they get 3 or 4 big injuries in that forward pack, then you could see some kids playing who are well out of their depth. So, first year is always hard coming into an established league. You got to, those marquee players, they want to see a few results before they come across and join these new teams. So it's going to be tough for them to start, but anything above kind of 14th, maybe 12th to 14 range, I think would be a bit of a win for them.
It's interesting looking at I'm going to go out on a whim here and say 85 to 90% of the team's only on a 2-year contract. So they're going to be like the admin side of the club are going to be working overtime to continue to not only improve the team lineup, but make sure these players stay on and they have more people past that second year.
You'd think maybe Jesse Bromwich and Kafusi might not re-sign after the 2 years. I mean, they are. I believe they're both.
He's got 3.
Oh well, they're both other side of 30. I'm pretty sure. So this could be their last actual contract. Maybe some other players as well. But I think the young kids that they're signing. I don't know how are Redcliffe going this year
I think they've just won 8 in a row now, so they're going pretty well. But if you have a look at the guys that are performing well, it's your Dejan Arce, Volkman, Kosi, like the Warriors boys that are on that kind of fringe level at the moment that are really playing well. But I know Wayne signed a few boys from rugby over here that are pretty talented footballers, and New Zealand rugby's sad to see them go. I think just the hardest thing for me is like their biggest marquee signing has been their coach. So I think there's a lot of players waiting to see how they go over this next 1 to 2 year period before they go there. And the guys that we've seen go there at the moment, like you mentioned, are some of those older guys maybe looking to cash in towards the end of their career. So if they can go well next year, then they can go in for like a Munster or maybe even a Luke Keary, because the way Joey Manu's playing at the moment, maybe the Roosters see him as their 6. So Keary could head there and get a payday.
Now, I've got to say, New Zealand rugby have 1 or 2 bigger problems to look after at the moment. And
what's that for?
Well,
Hey, leave that for the pick and go tomorrow.
okay.
That's tomorrow's
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
But you're right. Injuries will play a huge part in how the Dolphins go next season. And I had a look through, and most of the teams this season have had more than one significant injury affect them outside of probably the Penrith Panthers, who haven't really had any sort of injury problems whatsoever, apart from the start of the season when, the winger May was injured for the first, 6 or 7 rounds. Outside of that, they'd be pretty, and I think it's probably due to their conditioning and the fact they've got still a fairly young side. So, yeah, for the Dolphins, staying healthy will be very, very important.
Interesting, just reading here on their Wikipedia page, they're planning on playing most of their 12 home games at Suncorp. Did not know that. I thought they'd really be trying to build a community on the Sunshine Coast there.
Very strange.
Maybe they're just trying to steal a few of those Broncos fans right in their back door.
Makes sense.
Have we got anything to say about the Tigers this week? I don't know, Blake. What are you hearing out of the camp? Obviously, they've been on the phone to you. They've talked to you. They've asked for your advice.
Yeah. It's the phone just hasn't stopped ringing. It's to put it on silent, turn it off. In fact, just saw today Scotty Prince put his name in. Spoke to Sheensy and just said, "Oh, look, I'm here to help." He's been doing some work with the Broncos, so I think that's another plus for the Warriors. I was just looking at the likeness. That's why I liked it so much last week. When Sheensy took over last time, it was a young side. They'd won the Harold Matthews Cup, which was the under-17s, when Sheensy in 2002, and they had Isaac De Gois, Hoffman, Fulton, Gibbs. 2005, 3 years later, they win a comp with Gibbs and Fulton playing. Ryan Hoffman already debuted. They won the SG Ball this year, which I believe is the 18s. A lot of 17-year-olds played. 2-3 years' time, are we seeing the same thing? Tigers come from nowhere and win the comp. Look, I mean, omens are there. You like a bit of deja vu. You like all this stuff. I do. I'm all in on the Tigers next year and going forward.
To be fair, we saw that young team play the curtain raiser for the Warriors-Tigers game, and there were some very, very sharp players in that Tigers side. They were very well drilled, exposed that young Warriors team, certainly around the ruck area, late in the first half and then into the second half as well. So, there are signs there. If the Tigers can keep their juniors, they may not be too far away from challenging again for another premiership.
Just need a couple of old heads. You got them. Uppy Coruscant coming there. You know, a couple of old heads around. It's all working. It's all coming together.
Ice, baby. Boom, 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 boom.
I see Kamali's out this week. That might be a good thing for you guys.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. Worked for the All Blacks in the first years. Anyway, move on. Let's have a brief look at what happened last week. First game of the round, Cowboys at home. No Tommy Dearden. Big loss for the Cowboys, and they went down to the Sharks. Sharks were tipped out by a couple of the team. You boys, I guess things sort of went to plan.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just follow the stats, don't you? Statman filled in last week, did a great job. He did a great job last week.
Filled in. Let's make that clear.
I'll tell you what, there was some gold delivered in those stats, and started off with the Sharks on Friday night, and they're starting to get back to full health. I know Katoa's out for the season now, but apart from that, they're starting to come together.
Eels Warriors, Searley. The Warriors, they sort of probably hurt by that try. I think it was it Papali'i just before halftime, was it? Which sort of took the wind out of their sails. They were sort of matching the Eels for a good part of that match, and just a few things defensively didn't quite hold. How do you see the game unfold?
Yeah, I was actually, for 50-odd minutes, I was pretty impressed with the performance that the boys put in. Again, though, just we make errors and then can't defend our line off the back of them, which is really costing us. But I definitely think you can see a bit of heart being shown that first 10 minutes, especially on our line. Like, the boys are definitely showing up and having a good crack. But yeah, 3 soft tries that really did cost us. It was good to see us score a couple late and just get a bit of excitement back heading into this weekend. But yeah, again, it's those errors that we can't defend. We can't afford to make them coming out of our own end.
Those 2 late tries certainly helped punters who backed the Eels 1-12, Karl. But what did you see in the game?
I was really impressed with how the Warriors played. Like Searley said, for the most part of the game, the 2 of those tries, yeah, they were errors, but they were, Shawnee, massive cutout ball. If that sticks, it's a great try. That's a 12-point try there.
Who chased Sevo? Because I thought that was
Harris Tavita. He chased him down really quickly.
He did.
Sevo had nothing. So it was the intercept, and then I think, excuse me, Marcelo Montoya dropped one a high ball on the line. Again, that turned into a try straight away. So, like, they're having a crack. They looked pretty good. Like Searley said, that first 10, 15, 20 minutes was defending that line and didn't give. I was impressed. I thought it definitely wasn't a bad loss.
Good signs for the Warriors.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure. And they scored more than 13 points. So
over 12.5, yes, indeed. Roosters Dragons. Well, it was Joey Manu in the Roosters, really, wasn't it? He was like a 60s band. He was just playing a tune. They were just running away with dancing all over the Dragons. It was the Roosters are back, Blake.
They are, mate, and you can still get 237. Unbelievable.
That was the price last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I checked today is because I thought, but still get 237. I mean, I said in my preview last week, Joey Manu at 6, enough said. Like, he's at the moment, you're to judge players at the moment, he's the best player in the NRL on his form over the last month. He's unbelievable. And it's going to be interesting to see how he goes back at centre, and hopefully he roams around.
I've got two top 8 bets sitting in my pending bets.
So do I, buddy.
And they both involve the Roosters.
Oh. Yeah, well, one's mine. It's a big call, one of mine, but we'll get to that.
All righty. Sea Eagles, Knights. Knights kept it tight for a while there, but in the end, Searley, Manly, boy, they're starting to look very, very good, even without Tommy Turbo. His brother, Jake, is just huge. Well, we saw how huge he was in State of Origin. He is huge for that Manly Sea Eagles side.
Yeah, and he'll be a big loss this week. I see he's got COVID, so he's a hard body to replace for sure. But 5 tries in the second half, like you mentioned. And I thought Ruben Garrick, you mentioned Turbo out, like he's been outstanding playing fullback, and he probably earned himself a bit of a pay rise in the years to come, because there'll be other teams out there looking for a fullback, and we all know how much more they get paid than wingers. So I'm sure Ruben's a happy man. I also thought Josh Aloiai, I think he makes a massive difference to that 4-pack when he's in there. Just a bit of mongrel and go forward, and I think he's an extremely underrated player. So be interesting to see how they go with no Jakey T this week. But I do think Manly are starting to hit a nice little run of form.
Titans Broncos, a tight game. Broncos come out on top. Just
Adam Reynolds, the difference again.
The buy of the season.
But
to be fair,
definitely I think they were missing 3 Origin stars, so it was, if the Titans, it was their best chance.
Was there no Capewell, no Cobbo,
Oates, and Kerrigan?
Most of them are back. No Cobbo this week though. I don't think he's still. That was a nasty knock he took in.
Disaster
Origin.
for my fantasy team. But,
ouch.
Yeah. I mean, not a pretty game, but Broncos keep on rolling.
Blake, Tigers, Panthers, heartbreak for the Tigers. They had to lead, and to see James Fisher Harris go over under the sticks.
And it's
150th.
Yeah.
150th. That's, I mean, if you're not beating the Penrith seconds, you're struggling.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, it was a bludger of a game. It was so bad. The drop ball every second set, and it wasn't just the Tigers. I mean, both teams. The Tigers got disallowed 2 tries. I think the young winger, so just a silly offside at the kick. And if he wasn't offside, he's still there, and they get the ball and still score the try. That's how little the game is. I didn't mind the Jackson Hastings experiment. I know I've read a lot, and a lot of people don't like it in the footy world. I'm actually all for it. I thought he sort of constructed the middle of the field well and let Dewey and Brooks play either side. I thought Dewey, once again, the way he plays footy, just like that, instinct footy, just goes away from structure when he sees something. I love it. And I think he's going to get them 1 or 2 wins on the run home.
I think Dewey, he's the first one picked in the halves, and then you decide whether you want Brooks or Hastings after that. Obviously, they're trying to balance it out by having Brooks in the half and keeping Hastings in that 13 jerseys, all 3 on the field. But I don't know what the best combination is, but certainly Dewey is the must. And you work things out from there. There's some positive signs for Tigers. Storm Raiders, Searley. The bank is, it's officially closed. And I guess the Whiten curse, as Blake said during the game, the Whiten curse is over. Raiders can now win with Whiten on the field. So first, we've pretty much talked about the Storm, but what about the Raiders? Are they on the up?
I think Ricky Stewart said that was his 4th win on the trot against Craig Bellamy, wasn't it? So he's got the upper hand on him there. Guys like Joseph Tapine, we mention him week in, week out, playing some outstanding footy, and that Raiders 4-pack, and when they roll their sleeves up, they can go with anyone. Are they on the way up? After last week, you'd say, yeah, but look, next week you won't be saying that after the Warriors get the better of them. But now promising signs for the Raiders. They're right in the hunt for the 8, so they've certainly got plenty to play for. I think Rapana will be a big loss for them. But no, they're definitely a side that you don't want to play coming into the back end, because when they've got plenty to play for, they can play some good footy.
I saw old Sticky come out saying how much Jack Whiten should have been in Origin, and that there's no way Dane Gagai would have punched him in the face if it was Whiten and not Burton.
Last game of the round, Doggies and the Bunnies, and it was almost like a heavyweight bout. They were going punch for punch for a good part of that match. There were some wonderful tries scored. Was was it Flanagan who got a bit lippy with Cody Walker after the Dogs had just scored a try, and then there was a wee bit of a push, pull, tug, throw sort of thing, and that just fired the Bunnies up, and then they went on and scored a couple of tries back to back after that.
3 tries in 6 minutes.
Maybe Flanagan should just stick to playing the game. Don't worry about antagonising the opposition. Karl has learnt that from all the billboards he put out before the All Blacks Irish did. Don't antagonise the opposition.
Jeez, don't single me out.
You put them up.
I didn't put them up.
Searley.
I helped the installation.
First of all, it was a great game.
It was a great game. And I think Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, probably 2 guys that you don't want to fire up. They're easily fired up and they play some good footy when they are. I do think that both of them have a bit of a fine line, and a lot is riding on those 2 keeping their heads down this end of the season. If the Bunnies are to make the 8, then it's going to be off the back of those 2, and they can both lose their cool pretty quickly. There's some good tries scored there, and I think a few punters would have happy to see old Alex Johnston score a late hat trick, because I think that 2 or more option with him in there is becoming very popular every week.
I think the 3 or more is pretty popular at the moment as well with Alex Johnston, and you're right, he's on the end of the back line that is feeding and flying at the moment. So what's he, top try scorer at the moment?
Top try scorer with 19. Sione Katoa, Corey Oates, Pappenhausen, and Taylor May all on 14.
Didn't he have a week off as well where his replacement winger scored
a hat trick as well? Yeah. I think he was paying $3.50 last week for 2 or more, so that's anytime try scorer odds for most people. So
I think you were trying to slot him in as your roughie, and were just scared off by the fact that Karl would come back and go, under $5, not on my watch.
Yeah, you got to get him 6 or more to get him over $5.
I'm always listening, fellas. Always listening.
All right, where do we go? Let's preview a few games this week.
Let's do it.
The first game, the Thursday night game, Eels Broncos, and that's a great matchup. At was it Combank Stadium?
Yep.
Statman.
I'll take this one, Blake.
You got it, mate. You got it. I've got him here, but we'll see. You'll probably miss it. You'll probably miss it.
Shush.
Miss it.
Eels have won the last 5. They won 8 of the last 10, dating back to 2017. Average total in the last 10 total points is 46.5. This week, the total set at 40.5. Over/under total points is split 5 apiece in the last 10. The under has hit in 3 of the last 5, though. Average winning margin for either team in the last 10, a huge 21.7 points. The Eels' average winning margin in the last 5, remember they've won the last 5, 29.6, Paul. They've averaged, the Eels, this is 37.6 points in those last 5 to the Broncos 8. So tough scenes for Broncos fans. With that said, Broncos have won 9 of their last 11, and the Eels have won 7 of their last 11.
Blake, how's this going to go?
Paul, I'm a pretty rock solid guy. I stand by what I say and my picks. So, look, big ins for Brisbane, but you know what I think about Parramatta this year, and I'm going to ride them all the way to the GF, and I think it's going to start now. It started last week against the Warriors, a couple of good tries. I think they win a tight one against the Broncos at home. I think they're just starting to get the wheels moving.
Searley?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go the other way. I like a bit of value, so I do like the Broncos. You mentioned all those stats there, but Adam Reynolds, he hasn't played in any of those games, and I think he'll make a massive difference. We all know Parramatta, when they get a few wins on the board, they're due for a loss. So I do think this Broncos side, with all their ins back in the mix, I think they will really push Parramatta, and if you want an upset for the week and a bit of a roughie, then I think the Broncos are probably the best place to chuck your money.
Statman, you sticking with your stats?
I'd say second best, but we'll get to that shortly. I'm with the Broncos. I've been tossing and turning all afternoon on this one. I think it'll be quite a tight game. But still, you mentioned one name, Adam Reynolds, and I think he will be the difference maker in this one for the Broncos.
Broncos. I'm on the Bronx. Like Searley said, Adam Reynolds hasn't lost against Parramatta while playing for the Broncos. So I'm looking for this is a different Broncos team.
Yeah, I agree.
They're playing with a whole lot of confidence. They ground out a tight win against the Titans last week. I think we'll see them sort of relax a wee bit this week, and the Origin stars are back outside of Cobbo. Oh, look out, Parramatta. This is one you drop. Next game, it's the Warriors, and they head to GIO to take on the Raiders. And Karl is going to tell us why we should be backing the Raiders.
5 each, the last 10. They've split. Warriors have won 2 of the last 3. And Warriors, I'm pretty sure I'm right here. Warriors have won 3 of the last 4 at GIO.
You're right, Karl. You're right. It's in the stats.
Nice
Thank
play.
you. Warriors won the last match, obviously, 21-20, the SJ field goal. Of the 4 Warriors wins in the last 10, they've been outsiders in 3 of them. I'm picking boxes to tick here on the way down the list. Average winning margin, any team in the last 10 is 10.5 points. The Raiders' average winning margin in their 5 wins in the last 10 between the two is 18.5, whereas the Warriors is 2.5. So if you think the Warriors are going to win, it'll be tight. Average total points in the last 10, 44.5. In the last 5 is 43. Total this week is 41.5. Under is hit in 3 of the last 5, and a 5-5 split in the last 10.
Searley, I have a feeling I know which way you're leaning. Let the listeners know.
Yeah, the Warriors win this one in an arm wrestle, and I made the mistake there of saying the Broncos will be the upset of the week, but it's definitely the Warriors. I just always have them down as favourites in my head, so I often forget that the bookies aren't thinking the same way. Interesting, I think the big call for me this week from Stacey was Dejan at 6. I thought Volkman's been really good. He was out last week with the flu, but then I noticed he did play for Redcliffe, got 8 from 8 off the boot and had a strong performance, but then so did Arcee, scored a try and set up 3 and had a strong kicking game as well. So perhaps his form there has been too good to ignore. I'm excited to see Walshy off the bench against some tired defenders. And no Rapana for me, for the Raiders. That's not often you say a winger makes all the difference, but I've convinced myself that he will. So he's out. And if we can go with them in the middle, which I think we can, I really rate our forward pack. I think that's where it'll be 1 or loss. Wouldn't rule out another drop goal. I think it's going to be tight. And yeah, the Warriors definitely probably in that 1 to 6 range, like Karl mentioned, she'll be close.
Blake, where are you going?
I'm on the fence here. I've gone the Raiders just though.
Come on, Blake.
Get out.
I've got after last week. I just think the Raiders are, and I'm just confused by the team, the Warriors team. I love Chanel at fullback because when we saw him live that game, and I don't think Walsh has been like coming from the Chanel running it. Then you've got Montoya, Dallin. Great way to start the set, and 2 of the 3 are always there. Where Walsh really isn't that type of player. He's more of a ball player out the back, but then with him on the bench, where do you use him when he comes on? I haven't heard anything. I don't know. I'm just confused, and that's one of the reasons why I've gone the Raiders, just because the boys' team confuses me a bit. So I think it's going to be a close one. It could come down to a field goal, but Raiders maybe in that 1 to 6 margin.
Yep, Raiders for me too.
Are you going to ask me?
I think I already know, but yeah.
Warriors.
Good man.
I'd advise if any of the boys, the Warriors, are listening, take that field goal in the first set you can. Just get it out of the way, so we don't have to worry about it at the back end of the shadow game, please. I love Harris Tavita at fullback. Like you said, Blake, he was awesome. I think man of the match against the Tigers. Walshy hasn't been playing that great, if we're going to be honest, right? I'll be the guy that says it. It's fine. It's okay. So I like him off the bench, spark a bit of attack. I think I said that. I don't know. Maybe they move Harris Tavita into the 9 and let Walshy out the back. Just a bit of a
Tommy Turbo Rover type of role.
Just floating around. You make a good point, Blake. Like Walshy, the type of player he's that ball player at the back. I really struggle, and it's something the Warriors have, the good fullbacks they've had are the ones that push up and support. And when the guys like Anthony Blake, he's halfway through the line, 2 out of 3 carries, he's got an arm free. I expect to see Walshy right on him, taking that pass and way he's going. And it's something we've missed lately. So I think Harris Tavita loves to follow and support like that. So yeah, I don't mind it. The stats tell me the Warriors are going to win. Yeah, I'm here for it, baby.
All right. Last game that we'll look at, Panthers Sharks. This is a big top 4 battle. Panthers well rested with Cleary back from where was he? Bali. I think Isaiah Yeo was in Wagga or somewhere. In fact,
Wagga. Yeah.
Country new. Where was he?
Wagga.
Oh, Wagga. Not
Yeah.
Wagga.
Not Wagga. No.
Wagga. In fact,
Making these names up.
I know. Well, I think I saw a couple get married at the Wagga KFC a few nights ago. So,
Possible. Harness are big down there.
Could have been him.
He may have
It
been.
was. Congrats to Isaiah Yeo. If he's
Big
listening.
party.
How good's KFC?
Oh, fantastic. Anyway, Panthers Sharks, that man.
Panthers have won 4 of the last 5, but the Sharks have won 6 of the last 10. The average total in the last 10, 46. In the last 5, it's 52.2. The total this week is 40.5. The Panthers have averaged 37.2 in their last 5 versus the Sharks. The Sharks have averaged 15. Panthers' average winning margin in their 4 wins is 28. The Sharks' average winning margin in the 6 of 10 is 8. Panthers have only lost once this season. We all know that. They're 9-1 in their last 10, and the Sharks have won 7 straight in 8 of their last 10.
Where are we going, Blake? Where are we going?
If you ask me this probably in about a month and a half's time, I'd be on the fence and possibly tipping the Sharks. But right at the moment, I'm going to go Panthers in a big way. I think when you hear all that stuff out of Origin last week and the boys have been sitting, I know they've gone away, but obviously it'd still be in their heads. And after a big loss like that, the first thing you want to do is get out and play some footy just so you can get onto that next game. So I think back at home, even though the Sharks are starting to figure it out, I think Penrith are just way too good. They're just clinical in this game.
Searley?
Yeah, I think I've said it a few times. I just think the Panthers are on that kind of next tier on their own, and I think they'll show it this week. I've been impressed with the Sharks, and this is a great test for them. They get Talakai back as well, but they lose Katoa. I think Jesse Ramian last week, he was outstanding, and him and Katoa were forming a really exciting combination, so that's a bit of a blow for them. But I see Penrith averaging 29 points a game. I think they're just going to be too good, and they'll show again that they are the competition front runners. If it wasn't at home, I'd give the Sharks a bit more of a chance, but much like Blake, I think it could be a big win for the Panthers.
Give me the Penny Panthers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is where they start ramping things up towards the end of the season. I'm happy to get on them, even though the Sharks have been impressive. I'm on the Panthers.
Yeah, same.
Should we have a look at the results from last week?
Let's.
Should we look at Origin first?
Nah.
No, don't worry about that. We've moved on from
Origin.
that. International footy is the new focus. So we've moved
let's
on
look
from
at Origin.
Let's have a look at Origin.
Let's look at Origin, boys. Yeah, good. I forgot about this.
Thought you might want to have a look at that.
Whew. Blake, strip out. Minus $500.
So what happens when New South Wales loses?
I thought All-Star season been and gone.
Yeah, NRL. The
Oh,
All-Star season's gone now. So, as you can see, I've gone way past you. But anyway, we'll get to that.
Oh,
Not in the Origin stakes. Paul made $400. I made $465, and Searley lost $500.
go the Blues.
Exactly, Searley.
We need to. What are we? We don't. No, I'm not going to go into what it was.
No.
And
NRL.
then if we look at the NRL, shock horror. Karl won that week too. I won $282. Blake a close second, 270. Paul made $114, and Searley letting the boys down, losing $95.
And if we look at the overall for the season,
Overall, Searley, commanding lead, $903 up. Paul up $598. Blake up $180.
whoa!
And I'm coming.
What's the minus?
It's as a team, we're all up. Okay.
Yeah. That tune's changed. I love it.
I'm minus $290.50. But 2 positive weeks in a row. We're coming.
They
I
say,
will catch Blake before the end of the season. I promise you all that.
they
Well, I've
say
gone,
you can't rise up until you hit absolute rock bottom.
Exactly.
And about a month ago, I'm pretty sure Blake hit the minus $1,000 mark. And since then, he has risen like a phoenix
I
out
have,
of the
mate.
fire.
I've
We had-
even
To be
big
fair,
heat
Blake has made $1,300 in the last 4 weeks.
after
So
All-Star
fair.
break, but a big heat check this week. Very big heat check.
Heat check.
Fair play to him. I've made $450. Paul $358. So current form, not great. And Searley,
Oh,
we've got to do this. We've got to be consistent, you know. Searley 370. Oh, sorry.
he's trying to rip you off, Searley.
Searley 677, mate. So the boys are flying. They're up.
So, yep,
The last month has been good to advantage line punters.
3 boys heads above water. 1 boy head below water.
But
Stat man.
he can
Stat
swim, and he has a big lung capacity.
Right. Let's get on to this.
Michael Phelps. He's the Michael Phelps of the advantage line.
I think he's more the Eddie the Eagle. Let's-
Eddie the eel, you mean?
oh, yeah. Eric the
Eric
Eagle.
the eel, yeah.
Everything.
Everyone loves a trier.
Let's head to this week, and we'll start at the bottom of the pile. Karl, your best head-to-head for the week.
Roosters, $1.29. They will not lose.
Nice. Searley.
Yeah, 6 again. Same from me. Roosters, $1.29.
Parramatta, $1.63.
Oh,
Big heat check this week. Big heat check.
Big heat check.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Back to the pack.
Give me the Dogs, $1.56.
Oh,
loves the dogs.
First time. What is it? First time they've been favourites in about 5 years, I think.
The first time they've been better than
That's
a
where it
4.5 point favourite.
Sorry. Yeah.
4.5 point favourite or better. That's how long it's been.
Jaden Campbell's back. Are you
4
sure?
points, not a lot.
Don't worry about that. They'll get tricky, little Campbell. Best multi-anchor, Karl.
Roosters -9.5 at $1.90.
Searley.
Warriors to score more than 12.5. $1.85.
Roosters -9.5 at $1.90.
I'll take Manly head-to-head, $1.61. Your best total, Karl.
Roosters to score 31 or more points at $2.70. And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
They've won 10 of the last 12 versus the Knights. In those 10 wins, they've averaged 34 points. And in the last 12 games, they've averaged just under 30. And the average winning margin in those 10 wins, 25 points.
Searley.
I just went the Para Broncos game overs.
I went the Titans Dogs game between 31 and 40 points, $3.10.
Oh,
Nice. I've taken the Rabbitohs Storm over 41.5 in that game at $1.85.
Tell you what, Blake, you're making the same mistake I did when I was up like this. You get comfy and you start making these bets that you're not really.
all right.
Drag you
all
back.
right.
Mate. Yeah, you're roughy.
Warriors to win and over 41.5 points at $9.
Searley.
Broncos 1 to 12 and over 40.5 at $7.50.
Yeah, I think Big Nelson crosses this week. So Big Nelson try and the Storm win, $8.
He's getting leery. He's getting leery.
I've gone a power play in the Eels Broncos game. Sevo or Simonson score the first try. $5.50.
Just getting that extra 50
He
cents.
scrapes it in. He scrapes it in.
All right, winning team and margins. First game, Eels Broncos.
Broncos 1-12, 350.
Ditto. Broncos 1-12.
Eels 1-12.
Broncos 1-12, 350. Raiders Warriors.
Warriors 1-12, $5.
Yep, you're a smart man, Karl. Same.
Raiders 1-12.
Raiders 1-12, 330. Panthers Sharks.
Panthers 13 plus, $1.83.
Again, with Karl. 13
Yep.
plus.
Panthers 13 plus.
That's four of us. Panthers 13 plus
Whoa.
at $1.83. We've got same game claims on all NRL matches this week. Got bonus back on all NRL matches this week. I'd just like to mention last week, Blake, his same game claim, Manly to win by 9 or more, Olakau'atu and Tuipulotu to score tries, and the last score to be a conversion. Now, he said it was $9 at the time. That's what I've written down on my piece of paper here. It did get in. It did get up. And a special mention to both Searley and Blake for their oval ball multis. Both of them got tripped up with the Storm, the bank
Yeah.
of the Storm.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, so,
I'd like to say I had a same game multi. The Warriors game personally that got up.
yep, we didn't see it.
Yeah.
We didn't see it. So give us the same game multi for this week.
Roosters Knights. I've gone Roosters to win by 12 or more. Roosters to win the first half by 6 or more. Teddy, Manu, and Tupou to score at $10.
Shirley?
I went the Cowboys Tigers. I went Nanai and Felt and Marmalo to score, and the Tigers total under 17.5 at $12. Sorry, Blake.
you bastard. I've gone the Para game, Para minus 4.5, Papali to score, Pereira to score, and Sevo to score, $19. So I'm really Thursday night orientated here.
Yeah, you could be done early doors here.
I'll be out early.
Can someone tell me, is it orientated or orient the other way you say it? Which way is the correct way?
Orientated?
Okay.
Orient-
I don't know the other way.
Oh,
Orienteering. Is it when you go
I'll
out and
stick with
find
it.
stuff for the
Right.
compass?
I've joined the party. I've got a same game multi as well. Broncos to win, Sevo to score a try, Papali'i to score a try. That's $19. Oval ball multi.
Yep. Broncos plus 3.5, Roosters minus 9.5, Warriors plus 12.5, Panthers minus 12.5. $13.03.
Shirley?
I've gone all try scorers: Oates, Saab, Manu, and Mulatalo, paying $16.07.
Nice. I've gone the Storm, Panthers, Raiders, Roosters, Eagles, all head to head, and the Tigers plus 19.5, $11.
Plus
Nice.
19.5.
I'd
the
like
line.
to mention it was a very, very good weekend for NRL punters last weekend. Even though the Storm tripped up Blake and Searley, it didn't trip up a number of other punters who put together quite a few multis with favourites in there. And most favourites won outside of the Storm, I think. And so, yeah, they picked up a few dollars, the punters did. So, well done.
Lost it all on the All Blacks, but good on them.
I think that's it. Do you want to mention
So,
the...
before we go, if you don't forget, we've
Yeah.
got the giveaway, the 2 times double passes to the TAB club rooms. Flick us, I'm going to say us, TAB socials, DM, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Use code word Advantage Line, and you're in the draw. We will contact you as a winner via return DM, I would imagine.
And if you live in Papamoa,
You have to find your own.
can't
area.
guarantee that you'll get a lift.
Blake ain't taking you.
Stranger things have happened.
Mm.
Blake, that's it from you this week.
Yeah, mate, just a quick one to all the punters out there. South Sydney to miss the 8 is $3.40. Go have a look at their run home. They'll be the team to make way for the mighty Chooks.
Wow. Here we go.
There we
Searley?
go. Yeah, look, no great tips from me there, except for that the Storm will go 0-5. They'll lose to the Warriors and they'll lose to the Bunnies this weekend, and that'll ruin Blake's bet as well.
Karl, all done?
Yeah, I'm done. I got nothing left to give.
Yeah, well, you had the week off last
Big
week.
week.
and
Yeah.
you're taking big breaths at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, please.
Well,
Told you, I'm coming out of retirement this week. I'm pumped.
He's going to do a Joey Manu. We've heard it.
okay. Look out for the patella. All right.
Don't put that on.
Don't curse that. Don't curse that.
The old knees aren't great as it is.
Jesus.
Christ.
I'm concerned about your safety.
I am too now.
All righty. That's it. Don't forget, Karl's got 2 double passes to give away to the TAB club rooms at Mount Smart Stadium for the match between Warriors and Storm on Friday, the 29th.
Next Friday, July.
Slip into our DMs. Is that how you say it?
You would know, Paul. You would know.
I don't even know what that means.
That's great from you, Paul.
Finish it. Finish it.
All righty. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And we'll see you again next week for another edition of The Advantage Line.